Hello Aluxers, and welcome back to one of the last Sunday motivational videos of 2020. A discussion with a close friend prompted us to think about the things that work against you in today's world. Some things are basically handicapping and slowing down your progress in life. With the technological growth we're experiencing right now, these are more relevant than ever. Initially, we wanted to focus on financial liabilities alone, but we quickly realized there's more to the issue than meets the eye, and we can't wait to discuss these with you. Welcome to Alux.com, the place where future billionaires come to get inspired. If you're not subscribed yet, you're missing out. So here it is, 15 of the biggest liabilities in 2020. Number 1. Debt. Debt in all its forms is crippling and enslaving society. Debt is the most common form of liability, and nowhere is this more prevalent than in the United States of America. From the moment you're born to the moment you die, people are in a race to escape debt. The U.S. has commercialized absolutely everything. Calling an ambulance? That's at least $1,000. You want to hold your child after giving birth to them? That'll be $50. This is all shocking to anyone who lives in the developed world in Europe or the rest of the English-speaking countries. We wish we were joking, but if you got hurt in the U.S., people don't call the ambulance, they call an Uber. Take a moment to think about your youth. You're in your 20s. This is the moment you're supposed to go after it in life, the moment you finish your studies and are ready to enter the marketplace. Student debt is the biggest stress a person can take upon themselves at this stage, apart from having an early child. Can you imagine being 22 years old and already $200,000 in debt? Sure, you can pay it back for the remaining of your working life, but you're carrying it on your shoulders the whole time. All this extra stress is most definitely keeping you up at night. Plus, a good portion of the population is carrying this debt way into retirement. Let's say you somehow manage to ignore the student debt and you're still an optimist. You find the love of your life and are ready to start a family. Your debt merges and now you're in debt collectively, but at least you're happy. You're both working and are ready to buy a house to live in because everybody told you that renting is for losers. You don't have the capital to buy it in cash since you're already in debt, so what do? You go even more into debt in order to buy a property. Society has become an economy of debt, of payment plans and subscriptions. People get mortgages without realizing you end up paying almost double the price of the house you bought. People don't know this, but the first 10 years on a 30-year mortgage, you're just paying off the interest on the loan, not even touching the principal. And God forbid you have an illness that requires more complex treatment, for then it's most definitely game over. Let's hope that doesn't happen. 55 years later, when you finally pay off your debt, Junior's ready to start the cycle all over again. Be very careful with bad debt, Aluxers, for until you repay it, your time no longer belongs to you. Now, with this big one out of the way, we'll try to keep the rest a little bit shorter. Number 2. Not speaking English. This might not be the case for you as you're listening to this in English, but because of how things worked out after wars and colonization, the bulk of human knowledge is stored and transferred in English. The winning economies dictated this because of the economic incentive. The bulk of quality media content in the world is in English. The first language books are translated to, if they're not written in English, is English. Why? Because that's how you reach the most people who can afford to buy what you're selling. Everybody in the world knows who Michael Jordan or Arnold Schwarzenegger are, despite the local population being just 300 million. How many Americans or Europeans do you think know who Shah Rukh Khan or Sachin Tendulkar are? Case in point, countries like India and China have large enough populations to develop their internal ecosystems, but this has already been won. The new medium of transfer of information is the internet, and the internet was built in English. It's only the last couple of years local influencers have started to develop this local environment, and we're seeing a bit more dilution. Back from this tangent, if you don't speak English, you wouldn't be able to get the quality information we and others like us provide. Knowledge that compounds and applies directly into your daily life. Every day, we get between 10 and 50 emails from people asking if they can translate our content into their local geographies and give us a portion of the earnings. Some have already done it without our approval, and we've had to take their content down for intellectual property infringement. You see, content in English is economically valuable, and investors are always looking to protect their investment. That's how you end up with the local Russian version of the Avengers with a bear man instead of the Hulk. Number 3. Lack of internet. The internet is basically the news these days. Remember how people believed in wind spirits before writing was invented? Yeah, that's kind of how modern people look at the Amish community, for example. These people don't even know what the weather is going to be like tomorrow. Lack of internet translates to a lack of education, lack of free speech, lack of ability to organize and address community issues. Every major protest in the last 5 years has been organized online. Some of the biggest cultural moments have been accelerated by the ability to organize with the help of the internet. When everybody has the possibility to broadcast into the interwebs, it's a lot easier to shine light on injustice and call it out. We spend most of our time online, thinking about just how dependent we are on the internet. Today, we work online, we order food and shop online, we go to school online, we entertain ourselves online, we even find our partners online. Every aspect of your life is moving into the cloud one application at a time. The internet is like the largest cultural marketplace in the world, and we all have access to it through our screens. Since the early days of commerce, people knew if you want to get the most bang for your products, you have to go to the city market. That's where the money is. Selling your stuff in the village market just doesn't have the same ROI. Fast forward a couple of millennia, and the internet is the new marketplace, the new university, and the new Coliseum. Number 4. Lack of banking infrastructure. Some geographies are performing better than others when it comes to money. See Switzerland and more recently the United Arab Emirates and Estonia. In order for a country to be rich, it needs for money to flow. The more citizens who have access to capital and the infrastructure to flow it through the marketplace, the quicker that economy will grow. As of right now, globally, about 1.7 billion adults remain unbanked. That means these people do not have a bank account, cannot transfer money, cannot borrow money safely, or accrue interest. In order to get money from one person to another, they rely on services like Western Union and MoneyGram. Anyone who's ever used any of these knows just how expensive it is to send money over long distances. The world has developed instruments that allow your money to grow, like ETFs, index funds, CDs, or more simply, the stock market. To invest in any of these, you'll need a bank account. Because of the lack of banking infrastructure, these people are unable to outgrow their condition, or at least it's substantially harder to do so. By the way, this is a problem that Bitcoin was initially supposed to solve. Number 5. A lack of financial education. Let's say you've got the banking infrastructure, you have the tools. Now you need someone to teach you how to use those tools so you don't hurt yourself. Most people fall prey to multi-level marketing schemes or get scammed out of their money, especially because of their inability to understand how money works. They sign contracts they don't understand, they borrow money with extremely high interest, or they believe someone will double their money for them in 3 years. Every uneducated country has fallen prey to a pyramid scheme in the past few years. The same simple con has worked all around the world. See Sahara in India, Caritas in Romania, MMM in Russia, to more recently Bernie Madoff or BitConnect. How you doing, Carlos? All good? Didn't think so. The problem is, people associate education with school, and although this was true in the past, you're not taught financial education in school. While your mind could be one of your most valuable assets, for most people it's a major liability. They don't understand how money works, how you earn it, or how things are valued. Imagine playing Monopoly, and instead of buying properties that earn you money, all you do is go around the board and collect the $200 when you pass go. Sounds stupid, right? Well, that's how most people go through life. Number 6. Mediocre teachers. Let's say you didn't get lucky and have someone give you financial education. You can still live a happy and fulfilling life if you've got the right guidance. The core values others instill in you will determine how you go through life. The best place to get these values are within the family and in the early school years. Unfortunately, for a good portion of the population, this isn't the case. Good teachers are protectors. They protect the pupil from harm in every form harm takes. Broken and struggling families have a difficult time keeping up with day-to-day survival. Abuse is common, and school doesn't seem to be the key out of this situation for many. Bear in mind that we're not talking about a single mom in Denmark, but about a little girl that gets raped when she's 12 in Nepal and sadly disregarded by her family for being dirty. Good teachers protect you from harm and nudge you on a different path in life. Many of you at one point in your life have found a teacher who altered your course and got you to where you are today. Number 7. Thinking everything is a conspiracy. Structures are built from building blocks. You build one thing and then trust it enough to build something else on top of it. The problem with conspiracy theorists is they negate everything that's been useful in the process of building. These are people who believe in the secret base on the dark side of the moon, that the world is flat, the COVID vaccine is actually a tracking chip or a measure for population control, and the banks are the devil, the government is watching them, or that 5G is causing COVID for the Chinese. Number 8. Being grounded in outdated beliefs. You know something else that holds you back? Thinking about the present in the same way you thought about it 100 years ago. We are currently living in a culture of innovation. This is why the older generation feels trapped and attacked all the time. Imagine growing up and interracial marriages were literally illegal until 1967. They grew up in a world where racism was okay, discrimination against women was okay. Anyone remember the stay-at-home mom phenomenon? We sure do. The more you hold on to old beliefs, the more likely you are to be left behind. You can't swing forward if you don't let go of the previous vine. Number 9. Religious limitations. Oh boy, here's where the pray-COVID-away army pulls out their 1997 keyboards and begins attacking us in the comments. But the argument stands. In different forms, you'll find the same idea in most religions. In Christianity, you'll find it under Mark 10:25. It is easier for a camel to go through the eye of a needle than for someone who is rich to enter the kingdom of God. It's been an unusual year, so what the hell, let's say it. Religion was designed for the poor so they can feel better about the misery they're enduring in their everyday lives. Every religion out there rewards the poor and the frail with an eternity of bliss in paradise, be it reconnecting with your long-lost relatives, reincarnating you as a prince, like we've got many of those left around, or showering you with virgins. Growth and prosperity come from embracing innovation. The fact that we're not 20 years ahead on gene editing is because your religion doesn't want us playing God. That's where things get a bit blurry for us. It used to be that back in the day, God would either heal your disease or have you come to heaven. Back in those days, life expectancy was under 40 years. Since we dropped the God knows better than science routine back in the 1800s, child mortality has halved, and now every country in the world is getting better at keeping children alive thanks to vaccines developed by the same people you would have burned at the stake not too many years ago. There are many valuable principles scattered around all different religious beliefs, but the goal is to be critical enough to realize what is valuable and what is actually nonsense. Number 10. Marketing that works against you. Unfortunately, we've moved from an economy of utility to an economy of desire. Most of our problems are no problems of what we're lacking, but actually problems of excess. We eat too much, we work too much, we buy too much. The marketplace has tricked everyone into playing status games. Ironically, for a person to be successful in life, the longer one disregards status games, the higher the status they'll gain in the end. But this doesn't mean the marketplace won't tempt you. Nobody needs anything anymore. If you really think about it, most of our essential problems are solved. Things like food and shelter, even health to some degree, is taken care of. We have this thing as humans where we need other humans to think that we're doing well, that we have status, and it becomes a liability. The pursuit of looking rich in the short term is actually making you poor over the long term. Number 11. Having kids too early. You have no idea how expensive having kids is until you do have kids. And you better realize it's not just money expensive, but time, attention, emotion, and yes, of course, also money. Children raised right require your input constantly, and as much as we'd like to think of ourselves as multitasking machines, we're not. Having kids too early requires you to sacrifice something in return, and it's one of those situations where you get to sacrifice the long-term for short-term compromises. Nobody teaches you how to be a great parent, so we decided to do something about it. Go to Alux.com/newparents and subscribe. We built this channel as the Alux for parenting. Number 12. Inability to market yourself. Earlier this week, we had videos on introverts and extroverts, which you guys loved. Marketing yourself doesn't mean you have to become a daily vlogger. Instead, it focuses on standing out in a crowd of mediocrity. For one to be successful in life, one needs to learn to set themselves apart. You might be the most skilled worker in the world. If nobody knows about you, you'll not become successful. Number 13. Playing it safe gets killed by automation. The idea of playing it safe in the world that we're living in right now is emotional and mental suicide. Nobody wants to spend their lives working unfulfilling jobs that barely keep them alive. Even more so, technology is coming after those unfulfilling, repetitive, boring jobs. We like to say that unless you work in the software industry, it's just a matter of time until software enters your industry. And we like saying that because we believe it's the truth. One of the biggest liabilities you can experience right now is seeing this big storm approaching and not taking your umbrella with you when you go out. Number 14. Can't follow through. What's in your mind isn't in your reality. You know what's holding you back? Yourself. You lack discipline. You lack the ability to focus your decisions. You love to judge yourself by your intent instead of your actions. Every one of you think that they're special. Yes, we're talking about you. You think that you're destined for greatness, that you can't wait to show the world your potential. But this is one of the biggest traps there is. Potential isn't worth anything unless it's executed. Time will go by and one day you'll realize that all of those dreams and goals you've been lying to yourself that are going to happen for you never will. You'll grow frustrated, envious, and disappointed because you believe you could have done more, when in reality, we are what we do, not what we say we'll do. Number 15. Human connection and emotional intelligence. In a world that's as technology-driven and socially connected as the one we live in, human connection and emotional intelligence aren't as common as you would expect. Nobody knows how to connect with other humans anymore. Nobody knows how to be empathic, and this is holding you back. Those who do know how to connect have gotten rich in the past decade because of just how valuable this skill has become. Ironically, the exact skills you wish you had are the ones they use to keep you coming back to these social networks that we love to hate so much. We as individuals are a combination of all of the ingredients we built ourselves with, and the things mentioned on this list can definitely hold you back in your pursuit of being more than what you currently are. Which brings us to today's question. What is one liability you would add to this list? We can't wait to hear what you'd bring to the table. As always, we'll be with you in the comments, joining the conversation. Now, for those of you still watching until the very end, we saved a little golden nugget just for you. Your bonus, an inability to level up. We have this saying, some days your job is to think, other days it is to execute. What day is it for you today? With this question, we're basically splitting your time into two different types of effort. 1, thinking about what it takes to level up, and 2, putting in the work that allows you to achieve this new level in life. Both require you to go beyond your condition and change according to your expectations of the future. Most people grow until a certain point and then they stop. They stop doing one or even both of the things required to level up. This year is almost over. We want you to pull out a sheet of paper and take 15 to 30 minutes after this video and only think about what do you need to do in order to level up in your life. But do it deeply. Put effort into your thinking. early in 2021, we'll also be releasing Goal Mastery in order to help you guys make these things a reality. It's been a crazy year, and we can't wait to see where this journey takes us. Until then, thank you for being true Aluxers. We are always so grateful anytime you choose to spend some of your time with us, and hopefully in today's video, you found at least one idea that will help you one-up your existence. In order to check who's watched the video until the very end, please write 1UP in the comments. It always frustrates those who have no idea what's going on. Thanks for watching, Aluxers. Remember to subscribe for more great content, and we always appreciate your thumbs up.